I'm Haley, I'm 29, and my wedding video has 4.3 million views. For all the wrong reasons. And the most replayed part, my sister-in-law, Chloe, accidentally shoves an entire wedding cake onto my dress while sobbing dramatically into the camera. Everyone thinks it was a tragic, emotional mishap, and the comments call her an angel and me cold and controlling. What they don't know is that I'm the one who helped that video go viral because it was the final step in the revenge I spent months planning. I never wanted a fairy tale wedding. I just wanted something simple, honest, and ours. Good food, people we love, a dress that actually lets me breathe, and a husband who looks at me like I'm the only person in the room. Instead, I got a live stream disaster, a trending hashtag, and a sister-in-law who treated my wedding as her personal audition tape. My name is Haley. I'm 29, a graphic designer, and according to one corner of the internet, the jealous bride who ruined her sweet sister-in-law's moment. But if you're willing to listen, I'll tell you what actually happened, and why I don't regret a single second of what I did to Chloe. I met Luke 3 years ago at a tiny indie coffee shop where the tables were too close together and the barista played the same playlist on repeat. I'd just finished a miserable client call and spilled an entire iced latte down my white blouse. Rough day? A voice said from behind me. I turned around, sticky and mortified, to see a guy with messy brown hair, wireframe glasses, and the kind of warm smile that makes you feel like the world just got a little less sharp. He handed me a handful of napkins. I'm Luke. I'm good with laundry advice and mediocre jokes. He was charming in a quiet way, the opposite of the loud, flashy guys I usually dated and regretted. We started talking, then texting, then spending entire weekends together doing nothing, and somehow everything. I met his family 3 months later. His mom, Denise, hugged me like she already knew me. His dad was quiet, but kind. And then there was Chloe. Chloe burst into the living room like she was entering a music video. Long blonde hair in perfect waves, phone in hand, ring light already clipped to her case. Oh my God, this is her? She squealed, wrapping me in a hug while somehow keeping the front camera perfectly angled. I'm Chloe. I'm an influencer. Well, almost. It's just a matter of time. She had 12,000 followers then, and she mentioned that number more often than her own age. Smile, she said, lifting her phone. First family pic with Lukey's new girlfriend. The flash went off before I could answer. My eyes were half closed. She didn't care. Story time. She sang, already typing. Luke rolled his eyes. She's harmless, he told me later. Just very extra. But extra doesn't cover what Chloe became when she realized I wasn't going anywhere. Chloe didn't just want attention. She needed it, like oxygen. She would show up at our apartment unannounced, phone in hand, surprise couple visit. She'd shout, barging in. My followers love seeing real relationships, like the time she walked in during a fight Luke and I were having about money, me worried about my freelance income, him about student loans. We were both tired and snappy. Oh, this is perfect, she whispered, already recording. Raw emotion. People eat this up. Chloe, turn that off. I snapped. She pouted. You're so sensitive, Haley. I'm just documenting life. That's literally my job. Your job doesn't pay your rent, Luke muttered. We argued with her for 10 minutes before she finally stopped recording. But by then the mood was ruined and I felt like a prop in someone else's show. I grew up in a house where emotions were quiet and private. My mom, Carol, worked double shifts as a nurse after my dad left, and she didn't have the energy for drama. If we cried, she listened. If we fought, it stayed in the family. So being around Chloe felt like living under a spotlight I never agreed to stand in. Still, I tried. For Luke, she's just young, he'd say. She's trying to build something. Once she grows up a little, she'll calm down. She didn't calm down. She escalated. When Luke proposed, it was simple and perfect. We were back at the same coffee shop where we met. He'd reserved the back table. The barista had spelled my name right on the cup for the first time ever. And when I looked up from my latte, he was on one knee. Haley, he said, voice shaking. Will you marry me and tolerate my terrible puns until we're old and gray? I laughed and cried at the same time. Yes, obviously yes. The whole calf clapped. It was cheesy and wonderful. We wanted to keep it quiet for a day, just hours before telling everyone. But Chloe had other plans. As we walked out, she practically tackled us on the sidewalk. Oh my God, she screamed, shoving her phone in our faces. You got engaged and didn't tell me? I had to find out from mom's text. That's my content you're wasting. She was live. Of course she was live. Comments were already flooding in. Who's the bride? Congrats. Proposal vlog please. I felt my stomach twist. Chloe, can we not do this right now? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She tilted her head, eyes shiny. Wow, I'm just trying to be happy for you. It's my brother, our family. My followers love love stories. Why are you always so controlling? Controlling, sensitive, overreacting. Those words started to stick to me like labels. She'd slapped on my forehead. Luke put an arm around me. Chloe, enough. We'll talk later. She turned the camera dramatically toward herself. Guys, I'm gonna give them some privacy. Love you all. Remember, you deserve a proposal that makes your heart explode. She ended the live and dropped the phone to her side. The sweetness drained from her face. You two better let me plan something, she said softly, but there was steel underneath. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for me too. I didn't understand what she meant. Not then. The wedding planning started normal enough. Venue tours, cake tastings, color palettes, but every decision turned into a fight. Not between Luke and me, between me and Chloe. I'm thinking a small ceremony, like 50 people, I told the family at dinner one night. Intimate. Chloe choked on her water. 50? Haley babe, that's not even enough to go semi-viral. You need at least 100. Also, outdoor venues are huge right now. Think drone shots. I don't want drones at my wedding, I said. But imagine the YouTube title, she insisted. My brother's emotional backyard wedding, I cried. I can see it now. It's not your wedding, I replied. She smiled sweetly. It's my brother. Luke tried to play mediator. We can compromise. Maybe no drones, but we can have a videographer. That's fine, I said. As long as they're hired for us, not for Chloe's channel. Chloe laughed like I'd told a joke. Same thing, babe. Same thing. She pushed herself into everything. When I picked a dress, simple lace, a line, nothing flashy. Chloe wrinkled her nose. It's pretty, she said slowly, but it's not exactly cinematic. You know? No one's going to cry over a dress that plain. I don't need strangers to cry over my dress, I replied. I just need to feel like myself in it. She pulled out her phone and snapped a picture anyway. My followers will help you choose. Pull time. Do not post that, I said sharply. I don't want Luke seeing the dress before the wedding. She rolled her eyes. You're so traditional. Fine, I'll blur it. I didn't trust her, so I made her delete the photo in front of me. She sighed dramatically, like I'd ruined her week, and through all of this, Luke kept saying the same thing. She doesn't mean anything by it. She's just excited. Excited felt a lot like entitlement. The first real betrayal came a month before the wedding. I was at my friend Megan's apartment, going over seating charts and second-guessing every decision, when she said quietly, Hey, have you seen this? She turned her laptop around. Chloe's YouTube channel was on the screen. A new video. Planning my brother's wedding emotional. She hates my ideas. My picture was the thumbnail. Not a flattering one mid-blink, mouth slightly open. Over my face, she'd added a crying emoji. I clicked play. Hands trembling. Chloe sat in her bedroom. Makeup perfect. Fairy lights glowing behind her. So, as you guys know, my brother is getting married, she said. Voice soft and emotional. And I'm so happy for him. But his fiancée, she's very particular. She described me as rigid, controlling, kinda cold. Someone who doesn't understand the internet and doesn't want me involved in my own brother's big day. She reenacted conversations with me, exaggerating my tone, rolling her eyes, and she doesn't want drones. Chloe whined into the camera. Like, who doesn't want drones at their wedding in 2025? The comments were brutal. She sounds jealous. Chloe, you deserve to be part of it. Red flag bride. Megan looked at me, eyes wide. Haley, this has like 100,000 views. I felt like I'd been punched. Luke hadn't mentioned the video. Had he even seen it? I drove straight home, the laptop link burning in my mind. Luke was on the couch when I burst in, phone in hand. Did you see this? I demanded. He blinked. See what? I shoved the screen in his face. I watched his expression change as he recognized his sister, then heard my name. Oh God, he muttered. We watched in silence. When it ended, My cheeks were hot with humiliation. She called me cold, I whispered. She made me into a villain for strangers. Luke ran a hand through his hair. I didn't know she posted this. I swear. Then you'll tell her to take it down, I said. Right now. He nodded. Yes, of course. He called her on speaker. She answered with a cheerful, "Hey, Lukey, did you see the video? They love you." "Chloe, take it down," he said flatly. Silence. Then, "Wow, so she got to you." "She's my fiancée," he said. "You misrepresented her. You made her look horrible." "It's my truth," Chloe replied. "I didn't use her name. No one knows who she is." "You used my name," he shot back. "That's enough," she huffed. "You're being manipulated. This is literally my job. You're asking me to lose money because she's insecure? Chloe, take it down." She hung up. 5 minutes later, the video went private, but the damage had already been done, and I realized something important that night. Chloe wasn't just thoughtless. She was willing to hurt me on purpose if it meant clicks. That's when the seed of revenge took root. At first, it was small. Just a quiet, dark thought. What if she felt what I feel right now? The humiliation. The helplessness. The way your own story gets twisted into someone else's entertainment. I hated myself for even thinking it. I told myself to let it go. Focus on Luke. Focus on the wedding. But Chloe didn't stop. 2 weeks before the wedding, she showed up to my bridal shower in a white dress. Not ivory. Not cream. White. "Chloe," Megan hissed quietly. "What are you doing?" "It's not a wedding," Chloe said innocently. "There's no rule." She spent the entire event vlogging, surprising the bride with heartfelt speeches that somehow all circled back to her struggles as a content creator. That night, I lay in bed next to Luke, staring at the ceiling. "Do you really think she's harmless?" I asked quietly. He sighed. "No, I think she's selfish. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." His voice cracked a little. "But she's also my sister. I don't know how to fix this without blowing up my family." I turned onto my side, studying his face. What if the only person who gets blown up is her online persona? He frowned. "What do you mean?" The revenge plan formed slowly over the next few days, like developing film. I didn't want to hurt Luke's parents. I didn't want to hurt Luke. But Chloe? Chloe had built her little internet identity on half-truths and manipulation. All I had to do was give people the full picture. And if there's one thing I know as a designer who works with brands, it's this: perception is everything. The first step was gathering evidence. Megan helped. "I've been screen recording some of her stories," she admitted sheepishly. "I had a feeling you'd need them someday." We collected clips of Chloe mocking me, twisting conversations, turning my boundaries into content. We dug up the video where she fake cried about how no one takes influencers seriously while subtitling me as the hater fiancée. I went through my messages with her, highlighting every instance where I clearly asked for privacy, said no filming, or requested she not post something. And she did it anyway. Then I looked at her upload schedule. She always teased big announcements before posting emotional life events. 3 days before the wedding, she uploaded a teaser. "Big surprise coming this weekend. You guys are not ready." She thought she was talking about my wedding. She didn't know she was right, but not in the way she expected. On the day of the rehearsal dinner, I made my boldest move. I pulled Chloe aside before everyone sat down. She looked stunning, as always, hair curled, makeup flawless, phone already in hand. "Hey, bride-to-be," she sang. "Ready for the best weekend of your life? I have so many ideas for your entrance." "Chloe," I said softly, "I've been thinking." Her eyes lit up. "About what?" "About your channel. About how important it is to you." She nodded cautiously. "Okay, I know I've been difficult about filming," I said, letting my voice shake a little. "But this is your brother's wedding. I don't want to be the villain in your story." Her shoulders relaxed. "Finally, thank you. So," I continued, "I'll make you a deal. You can film, even live stream parts of the wedding, but only if you promise it'll be authentic. No script, no staging, just real moments." She stared at me, eyes wide. "Are you serious?" "Yes," I said. "But if at any point I say stop, you stop. And you don't post anything that makes me look deliberately bad. We're family now, right?" Her face softened. She hugged me, phone still in her hand. "Of course," she said into my hair. "You won't regret this." But I was counting on the fact that she would, because I knew Chloe. I knew she couldn't resist making everything about her. And I knew if I let her run wild with cameras, she'd hang herself with her own rope. I just had to be ready to show the world the unedited version. The wedding day was beautiful. The sky was clear. The venue, a converted barn with string lights and long wooden tables, looked like something out of a magazine. My dress felt comfortable and right. My mom cried when she saw me. "You look like yourself," she whispered, and it was the best compliment she could have given me. Chloe arrived in a blush pink dress. Not white, thank God, but it was tighter, shinier, and more dramatic than mine. Sequins that caught the light every time she moved. "Guys," she chirped, "already live on Instagram. We're at my brother's wedding. Look at the bride. Isn't she gorgeous?" I smiled at the camera, heart pounding. Let her think she'd won. The ceremony itself was surprisingly peaceful. Phones were mostly tucked away. We'd asked the officiant to request an unplugged ceremony, and people actually listened. Even Chloe respected that, probably because she knew the reception would be her playground. It was during the cake cutting that everything came to a head. The DJ announced it. Guests gathered in a semicircle, phones raised. Chloe was front and center, live streaming. "Okay guys," she whispered dramatically to her viewers. "This is my favorite part of weddings. I always cry." Luke and I stood behind the cake, laughing, hands on the knife. For a moment, I let myself enjoy it. The sweetness, the symbolism, the way he looked at me like none of the chaos mattered. We cut the cake together. People cheered. Then Chloe stepped forward. "Wait," she cried, voice wobbling. "Can I just say something?" The room quieted. She turned the camera to herself, eyes already shiny with tears. "I just want to say," she began, "that watching my big brother get married it's emotional, you know? We've been through so much, and sometimes I feel like I'm losing him, but I'm also so happy for him." She walked closer as she talked, gesturing wildly with her free hand, and then it happened. Her elbow slipped. It hit the bottom tier of the cake, hard. The whole thing lurched forward and crashed into me. I felt cold frosting spread down the front of my dress, heard gasps, plates clattered. Someone swore softly. Chloe dropped her jaw. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Haley, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean." Her phone was still up, still live, still recording my humiliation in HD. For a split second, I saw exactly what she wanted, a perfect viral clip. The clumsy sister-in-law ruins the wedding trope. She'd cry, the internet would comfort her, and I'd be the uptight bride who overreacted. I took a slow breath, then another. "Turn off the live, Chloe," I said quietly. I can't." They're all turn it off." Tears spilled down her cheeks. She dramatically fumbled with the phone and ended the stream, or so she thought. What Chloe didn't know was that Megan had been watching the live from her seat at the reception and screen recording the entire thing, every frame, every over-the-top speech, every accidental elbow. I looked down at my ruined dress, then up at Chloe. "It's okay," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Accidents happen." She blinked, thrown off balance. "Are really?" I nodded. "Yes, and luckily, cameras don't lie." Her face flickered with something fear, maybe, but she recovered quickly. I went to clean up. The venue staff were angels, helping me change into a backup dress, a simple satin slip I'd bought just in case. Honestly, it felt even more comfortable. The party continued. Slightly awkward at first, but the music and alcohol smoothed things over. Chloe kept her distance, which suited me just fine, because my revenge wasn't for that moment. It was for what would happen after. 2 days later, when everyone was home and the wedding high had settled into regular life again, I invited Luke, his parents, and Chloe over for dinner. My mom and Megan were there too. Chloe walked in all smiles. "Hey, newlyweds, ready for me to drop the wedding vlog?" The footage is insane. The cake part is already getting traction on TikTok. People love it when things go wrong. I placed a bowl of salad on the table and looked at her calmly. "You uploaded it?" "Just a short clip," she said. "It's funny, I promise. You come off really chill. See?" She pulled out her phone and showed me the edited video. The angle made it look less like an accident and more like a quirky, emotional moment. She added soft music, slow motion, and her own tearful voiceover about family and forgiveness. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. "You're such a good sister-in-law. Haley is so lucky to have you." I cried. It was manipulative, polished, a lie. Luke's jaw clenched. Chloe, you should have asked before posting that, she shrugged. It's my life too. People love it. This kind of content could be huge for me. Brand deals, sponsorships. I might finally hit 100,000 subs. I wiped my hands on a kitchen towel, then walked over to the TV. I figured you might say that, I said. So I thought we could all watch something together. I connected my laptop to the TV. Megan handed me a USB drive like a co-conspirator in a heist movie. I opened a file labeled, Chloe Unfiltered. Haley, what is this? Denise asked cautiously. Context, I replied. The footage Chloe didn't edit. The video started with Chloe's wedding live, her setting up the shot, practicing her emotional face in the front camera, whispering, "This is gonna do numbers." You could hear her giggle right before walking toward the cake. Then, played in real time, we watched her elbow slam into it. There was no slip, no stumbling. It was deliberate, hard. Her fake shock, her overacted apology. The phone still perfectly angled to catch my reaction. Denise covered her mouth. Luke's dad muttered, "Jesus." Chloe went pale. This is edited," she stammered. "You're twisting." I clicked to the next clip, a screen recording of her earlier video. The one she'd made about my controlling behavior. The one she'd taken down. "You didn't delete it," Megan said calmly. "Putting it on private doesn't make it disappear. And I'm not the only one who saved it." We watched Chloe roll her eyes at me, imitate my voice in a mocking tone, call me jealous and rigid. We watched clip after clip her breaking my boundaries, laughing at my discomfort, calling me overreactive when I asked her not to film. The room grew colder with every second. Finally, I paused on a still frame of her face, mid-eye roll. "Chloe," I said quietly, "you've been telling your followers your truth about me for months. I figured it was time my truth had a chance too." She stood up, chair scraping loudly. "You can't post this," she snapped. "You have no right. This is my image, my brand." I met her gaze. "You posted me first, without asking." Repeatedly, Denise spoke, voice trembling. "Is it true?" she asked her daughter. "Did you push the cake on purpose?" Chloe's eyes filled with tears. "I needed a moment," she said, voice shaking. "Do you know how hard it is trying to grow a channel? No one takes me seriously." "That's not an answer," Luke said quietly. She looked between us, realizing there was no sympathy left to manipulate. "Yes," she spat finally. "Fine, yes." I nudged it, but I knew it wouldn't actually ruin anything. "They cleaned it. She had another dress. This is what people expect now, okay? Big, messy moments. That's the game." I took a breath. "Your game hurt me. It humiliated me. And you made money off it," she scoffed. "You're being dramatic. You got the guy and the ring. Let me have something. Is that what you think this is?" I asked softly. "Me vs. you? It's always been that," she snapped, and in that moment, I saw her clearly. Not as this unstoppable villain, but as a desperate, insecure girl who believed her worth depended on strangers watching her life fall apart in 4K. I still didn't pity her, but I understood her, which made what I was about to do feel less like cruelty and more like balance. "I'm not going to post this on my own account," I said. "I don't want to be a creator. I don't want followers. I just want my life back." Chloe exhaled in relief. "Okay, good. Then we can, but," I continued, "I did send it anonymously to a channel that specializes in exposing manipulative influencers." Chloe froze. Megan looked down at her phone. "They already uploaded it," she said quietly. 2 hours ago. It's kind of blowing up." The TV screen lit up again as I opened a browser. A video thumbnail appeared. "She faked a wedding accident for clout. The truth about Chloe Hartley." Hundreds of thousands of views already. Comments calling her out. Side-by-side comparisons of her edited wedding clip and the raw footage. Denise sat heavily in her chair. "Chloe, what have you done?" Chloe stared at the screen, horrified. "You ruined me," she whispered. "You ruined my career." "No," I said softly. "You did that." I just turned the lights on. Luke put an arm around me. For once, there was no conflict in his eyes, no attempt to excuse or soften. "I should have protected you sooner," he said to me. Then to Chloe, "We asked for respect, for privacy. You ignored us, over and over. This is the consequence." She grabbed her bag, eyes wild. "I hate you," she said, voice breaking. I wasn't even sure which one of us she meant. She stormed out, door slamming behind her. Silence settled over the room like dust. Denise started to cry. Not loudly, but with the quiet grief of a mother realizing she doesn't recognize her own child. I felt a sting of guilt, but also relief. For the first time since I joined this family, I wasn't the one being blamed for overreacting. In the weeks that followed, Chloe's online world fell apart. Brands dropped her. Followers turned on her. She posted a half-hearted apology video that spent more time blaming cancel culture than taking responsibility. It didn't land. She went from daily uploads to disappearing entirely. As for us, life got quieter. Luke and I went on a real honeymoon. No posts, no tags, just us and a cabin by a lake. We cooked, we talked, we fought a little and made up a lot. One night, sitting on the deck, wrapped in a blanket, he said, "Do you regret it?" I looked out at the water. Yes and no. He waited. Yes, because I hate that it came to this, I said. I hate that we had to hurt your sister to make her stop hurting us. But no, because she wasn't going to stop on her own. And I needed her and the internet to see who she really was. He nodded slowly. I don't know if she'll ever forgive you. I smiled sadly. I'm not sure I need her to. What about my parents? His parents had been quiet, torn between their children. But Denise had texted me a few days earlier. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Thank you for protecting my son, even when it meant exposing my daughter. They'll heal, I said. Maybe Chloe will too. Just off camera. He laughed softly. You know what my favorite part of our wedding was? The cake disaster? I teased. He shook his head. When you came back out in the second dress, you looked free, like you let go of something. Maybe I had. Maybe revenge isn't about destroying someone else's life. Maybe it's about reclaiming your own. So yeah, that's how my sister-in-law tried to turn my wedding into her big break. And how I turned her performance into her downfall. I think I was perfect in all of this. No, I let things slide for too long. I tried to keep the peace when I should have set harder boundaries. But if you take anything from my story, let it be this. If someone keeps turning your pain into their content, you are allowed to take the camera back. If you've ever dealt with a toxic influencer in your own life or someone who treats your boundaries like suggestions, tell me about it in the comments. And if you stayed with me all the way to the end, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a reminder that they're not crazy or too sensitive for wanting basic respect. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is finally being the one to tell your own story.